talk about tape resist and paper resist techniques that you can use. Here are some examples of tape and paper resist. So this one is an example in which I painted an underglaze onto the greenware that was this teal color that's in the background, and then I used a hole punch. So I have a variety of different hole punches, and I had one that was a cloud, but this is a similar one that's a heart. And what I had done is I used just glue stick on this, and I had glued a bunch of those around, and then I painted this darker blue on top, and then I pulled these off before bisque firing. To do this one, I used the opposite technique of doing a hole punch. And you can also just cut out by hand if you want to like take a piece of paper and do like an elementary school Valentine with it, fold it in half, and I'll cut a heart just to like show you what I mean. So like I could do something like that and have that be the part that I glue on. So you would take something like this, you'd put glue all over the back of it, you'd stick it on to greenware, again that's unfired clay that's totally bone dry, and then use underglaze and a paintbrush to paint it all on, 3 good coats, and then pull it off. And then you're left with what's there. So I've already set up this piece here with a few of those techniques. So I've put tape here because I'm going to paint on a stripe right there. And over here I have done a couple of things. I've used stickers, those little binder stickers, and those are going to be dots inside. And then I've used glue and paper with this hole punch to create this here. And what I can do is pick some colors. Go green. And I just want to make sure that I get 3 really nice coats. Oop, and not do that. So since I've done that, I'll show you how to fix that too. I'm gonna actually just let that kind of dry mostly, and I'm gonna just scrape it off. Is what I'll end up doing with that. So I've got those dots all filled, and I'm gonna want to let that really dry. And I'm feeling a different color for this stripe. Yellow. So I want to put it on fairly thick so it will show. If I'm doing it across, this is a lidded pot, I just want to make sure that I'm not like losing it in the hole between. It still needs to be able to come off. And you can see that I can be messy because the tape acts as a resist, which is the whole point. And I can blow dry this if I get impatient, or put it by a fan. And I can also screen print on top of this, which is the rest of the designs that I have out in my cups and stuff on the table here. And I've just been a genius and let that leak everywhere. So I should probably just let that fully dry. And I can show you guys how to fix the rest of it in just a moment, so you can go ahead and turn that off. Pretty cool. Okay, so let's get going here. I'm gonna go ahead and just lift up all my little stickers and tapes and resist techniques. Just lift them right off. This one's not totally done drying, but I'll let it dry. So I've got some dots. Hang on, I'm recording. And then on this one, I'm just gonna pull off. Oh, just break. Well, I need to kind of take both hands and rip it. Okay. So that's the outside and the inside. So that created a pretty nice clean stripe for me. Now what I can do, in any areas where I've made an error, I can just take the edge of a tool, because it's greenware, it's unfired, and I can just gently scrape it off. I don't want to make any gouges or dents in it that will show, and I can sponge over it later, but if you sponge it, you're more likely going to end up with streaks instead of a clean area with no color, if that was your intent. If you want it to be streaky, then sponge away, but it may not be your intent if you're going with a precise method like this. So from there, I could then sponge it because there's no residue, but if I left any residue, it would be problematic. So here, I just have some small errors, so I can just scrape very gently and remove those. This little guy here, I can just take that off, and I'm pretty satisfied with that. Here I just had another mistake, so I can just scrape that off. And so now this would be ready to do screen printing on top of, which I'll do in another video. But you do want to finish cleaning up any of your underglaze designs that are going to be underneath your screen printing or next to your screen printing before you do it. All right, I'm pretty satisfied with that. I could also choose to do a stripe that continues inside, which would be pretty cool. You know, this definitely has like a way that it goes. Ah, I see, there's some areas here. So that is what happens when you take off all of your resist, and ta-da. Some more examples of resist. This one might not be how you expected it was made. For this one, I took stickers like these on my greenware and I covered in this pattern all over it, and then I painted this teal underglaze all over the whole piece. Then I bisque fired it, then I glazed it with this light green over the whole piece. So that's why in the circles it appears light green and everywhere else it appears teal, because I did this as my resist technique. I could have also chosen to do additional resist techniques on top, or I could have chosen to do screen printing on top, which is what I did here. And we'll do in another video how to make a screen, how to design a screen, and how to actually push underglaze through the screen to create that effect.